In 1998, former Activision employees Josh Resnick and Andrew Goldman came together to create Pandemic Studios. Their first developed titles focused on sequels to Activision games like Battlezone 2 and Dark Reign 2. After developing 2 Star Wars games, LucasArts had the confidence to help Pandemic publish an ambitious title for the studio. That game is Mercenaries: Playground of Destruction. Released in early 2005 for both PS2 and Xbox, Mercenaries places you in the shoes of 3 playable mercs as you're dropped into a conflict-ridden North Korea. Your main mission is capturing the Deck of 52, dead or alive. This deck consists of 52 key North Korean figures, with the ruthless dictator General Song behind the ultimate ace of spades. You'll be taking missions from different forces throughout the game. There's the Allied nation you'll start to help first, then there's Chinese and South Korean forces too, and also the Russian Mafia as well. Doing missions for these forces builds up your trust with them, and you'll have to balance your trust between these 4 factions, or they'll attack you on sight. Gain their trust and they'll give you access to exclusive supplies and weapons. The Mafia will also give you access to their black market shop, accessed through your PDA. The title of this game sums up the gameplay pretty well. As you kill or capture the Deck of 52, you earn money to spend on explosives, tanks and airstrikes for example. Anything that explodes is your friend in this game, and you'll be using destructive weapons to absolutely level buildings and structures. For example, you may have to destroy a building to cause a target to flee from it, ready for capture. Anytime you need something that packs a punch, a well-placed smoke grenade will allow your allies to airdrop whatever you need to your position, but be careful as enemies will try and shoot your care package transit down. It's truly impressive how destructive the environments were for a game released during this time, although we all know Red Faction did a great job too 4 years prior. You don't always have to pick the explosive option to complete a mission. Some targets can be simply taken down from afar with some well-placed sniper shots. There isn't one way to complete a mission, and naturally as a sandbox game, it's up to you to figure out the best or most fun way to progress. As you drive around North Korea, the game gives you a good sense that there's a war going on. You'll encounter factions fighting, houses set on fire, and an overall smoky and hostile ambience. You might notice little details like smoke and fire being blown away by helicopter rotor blades. Once you gain easy access to helicopters, the travel becomes a lot less laborious, as after a while driving a car around the map it can get quite tedious, and the cars have a strange sense of control and physics. When released, Mercenaries received good reviews. The Xbox version is backwards compatible with the 360 and the One, and is the version that you see here. Unsurprisingly, the game was briefly banned from sale in South Korea for its depictions of a war-torn Korea. This wasn't the last controversy the series would generate, as I'll explain later. 2008 saw the release of Mercenaries 2 World in Flames for PC, PS2, PS3 and Xbox 360. You have the same choice of 3 different mercenaries to play as, and this time you're in sunny Venezuela. You're betrayed by a drug lord who hires you for a job, and it's your personal mission to track down and kill him. Just like the previous game, you take on missions from different factions, balancing their trust for you. Many of the core game mechanics have been kept the same as well, in terms of how you buy and use airstrikes, use weapons, and command the vehicles. Actually, in this game you have to acquire oil to use airstrikes and other services in the game. Throughout the map there are oil tanks which you can steal with the help of your copter pilot. There's also piles of cash and airstrikes to find and steal as well, but you can also just blow them up there and then for an extra bit of destruction. Speaking of destruction, there's certainly more carnage on show here. Lots more buildings, bridges and structures are there to be destroyed by any means. One big improvement is the driving. Cars feel a lot easier to drive, and you don't accidentally hit indestructible objects this time, as trees and fences conveniently fall apart when hit. One annoying aspect is the quick-time events when you steal a tank or helicopter. Sometimes they just don't work even though you're sure you've pressed the right button. Another vast improvement is checkpoints throughout missions. Both Mercenaries 1 and 2 have issues where if one thing or one person is harmed during a mission, then you instantly fail, which can be quite tough with so much destruction happening around you. Mercenaries 2 is more forgiving, I felt, which is also evident in the regenerating health system. It certainly makes the game easier, but it allows you to get away with a more offensive playstyle. Another addition to the game was online co-op, so you could have a friend join in with the fun. The game received average to good reviews, most noting poor AI and bugs holding the title back. The PS2 version of the game had a lot of elements stripped from it, which resulted in poorer reviews. With a bigger sequel came bigger controversy, with two notable points this time. Firstly, the Venezuelan government didn't take too kindly to the game's subject, and accused the studio of trying to drum up a real-world invasion of Venezuela. They also pointed out that Studio Pandemic had previously worked on training aids for the US Army. Secondly, with EA publishing this title, they were in charge of marketing as well. Now, EA aren't exactly strangers to marketing controversy, like the time they created a fake protest at E3 for Dante's Inferno. To market Mercenaries 2 in the UK, EA took over a petrol station in Finsbury Park to give away £20,000 worth of petrol to the general public. As you can imagine, this caused major gridlock across the area of London. As of January 2008, Pandemic Studios was owned by EA. Sadly, the studio suffered the same fate of so many EA-owned studios and was closed down in November of 2009. Final development on their last title, The Saboteur, was passed on to EA Los Angeles. After Pandemic's closure, info was leaked of two more Mercenaries games that had been in a period of development. Mercs Inc. was a game in development by Danger Close Games, who were formerly EA Los Angeles, and before that DreamWorks Interactive. The game had that Mercenaries style with a bigger emphasis on online multiplayer. A second game called Mercenaries 3 No Limits was leaked as well. This game looked to be set in Cuba and had you taking missions from the Russian Mafia again. So ultimately, the Mercenaries series didn't have amazing reviews, but they hold a special place in the heart of a lot of gamers that played them. Revisiting both for this video, I find that Mercenaries 1 was slightly worse than I remembered, and Mercenaries 2 was slightly better than I remembered, but that's just my personal take. Will we ever see another Mercenaries game? I highly doubt it, but there is one shred of hope. EA have continually renewed their ownership of the Mercs 3 website since 2007, so who knows, stranger things have happened. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Mercenaries series. I hope you're all well during these strange times, and I will see you in the next video.